What's going on YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're gonna talk some NBA contracts. First off, I gotta say James Harden, bro, bro, bro. Let me hold something, man, because you just got broke off. Now let me quit playing. But anyway, but not really, bro. Let me hold something. But now let me quit playing. Like y'all don't know, James Harden just got a 4-year contract extension for I think it was like 170 something $million, but overall, his overall income will be $228 million just for the Rockets alone. Not to mention, he makes over $200 million off his Adidas deal. I think his earnings altogether with all his endorsements and his contract, because his stuff is guaranteed, $540 million. Whoo! Talking about boy broke off. Whoo! That boy's paid. And it's my opinion, my personal opinion. I think that this contract guarantees that the Rockets are going to get Carmelo Anthony. I think that just guarantees it. This is just no, this is not me, like, this is just my personal opinion. I think that this move guarantees them to get Carmelo Anthony. And this is the reason why. Because of course, they're gonna try to load up people with them anyway, because that's what you do as an organization. You try to get the best players you can to team up with your stars. But now people know that James Harden is under contract for 6 years. He's under contract until 2023. So there's not a question. So if you decide to go to Houston, or you allow yourself to go to Houston, you know that James Harden is going to be there for the foreseeable future. That's one of the problems that Cleveland runs into when Cleveland's trying to attract people, because there's a question of, is LeBron staying? Is LeBron staying? Is he leaving? So people don't want to tie themselves down to a 3-4 year contract. LeBron leaves that day and you stuck in Cleveland. They don't want to do that. In Houston, now Chris Paul know, well, hey, James Harden is going to be here. Melo know, because Melo is in control of his trade, because he can waive or not waive his trade. He has a no trade clause, so he has to waive it just to get traded. So he's like, hey, James Harden gonna be in Houston for another 6 years. He Melo on the contract for the next two or three, something like that. He'll waive the no trade clause and go to Houston, because he'll waive the no trade clause, because he knows that James Harden ain't going nowhere for another 6 years. That's my personal opinion why I think so. Now, a lot of questions like, does James Harden deserve the contract? Yes. Now, I have my issue with James Harden. I don't think the Rockets will win a title if James Harden is your best player. I also think he chokes and doesn't show up in the playoffs. These are not arguable points. Look at when he was on the Thunder and when they went to the finals in 2012. Look at the Portland series in 2014. In 2015, look at the series against the Clippers. And then look at Game 5, the end of Game 5 and all of Game 6 against the Spurs this year. That's four completely different examples of him not showing up in the postseason. So it's not, okay, he slipped up one time, one game, one playoff series and didn't show up. It's consistent. It's kind of a consistent basis. I think that's the reason why they got in and brought in Chris Paul, which when I started saying from jump, I didn't think it made sense basketball sense wise. But other than this, it does make sense as far as Chris Paul is got that dog. He's that leader. He hates losing. Like, he really hates to lose. Like, losing eats at him. When he loses a game, he can't. He ain't like James Harden. James Harden lost in Game 6 and went to the strip club. Chris Paul is not that type of cat. So maybe the Rockets maybe we need to get some of this to rub off on James Harden. Because that was the same thing with Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard didn't care if he won or lost either. So those two, you get two people who really don't care, who losses don't affect them. It's, the culture is not going to change. You bring in Chris Paul, you hope that Chris Paul, that culture of him hating to lose, rub off on James Harden. So I understand that point. That he is a floor general. My thing basketball wise, because James Harden had his best season as playing the point guard. You bring in Chris Paul. Chris Paul is the point guard because he is a prototypical floor general. He is a point guard. James Harden is two guard masquerading as a point guard, but he played his best under D'Antoni with that point guard system, as being a point guard rather. And I'm thinking you're going to take those dudes away from him after he just had an MVP caliber season. Let's be real. If Westbrook doesn't average a triple-double, James Harden's the MVP. So you're going to take that away from him? But again, if you're going to try to rub off that competitive juice and that hating to lose on James Harden, yeah. And like I said, the deal doesn't make sense unless they brought in Paul George, which they couldn't do because Paul George ended up going to the Thunder. Now Melo. If they bring in Melo, I think that's perfect for the Rockets. I'm not saying the Rockets are going to beat Golden State, but I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a 6 or 7 game series. I really do, because it's going to be a lot of scoring. And a lot of people, because both James Harden and Chris Paul are going to be able to get the ball to Melo. And then it's not the burden of James Harden saving the day. It's not going to be on James Harden. So if he doesn't show up in a game 6, you got Melo there. You got Chris Paul there. And then you got Chris Paul getting at James Harden. You got Chris Paul getting at James Harden, so he needs to show up. So was he worth the money? Yes. Because you don't want to be a franchise that doesn't have a superstar. Even if the superstar is not, like I said, even though the superstar is not LeBron, it's not, it's not KD, it's not Kobe, not those guys that hate to lose. And yeah, he has his issues, he falls short, he has his shortcomings, but you would rather deal with that and then be like me, like I'm a Magic fan and we searching for a star. We get rid of Dwight, and Dwight is not the best superstar ever. And you see what's going on in Orlando. You see what happened to the Lakers when they got rid of Kobe. When Kobe took that dip. Like, you see when people lose their stars, how they just vanish and nobody cares about them anymore. They just vanish and disappear. See what happened once the old guys left Brooklyn. Once KG, because when KG and Paul Pierce first went to Brooklyn, Brooklyn had a decent team. They were in the playoffs, and they in the East. They get rid of them, and they are the worst team in basketball. Like once you lose stars, you would notice. So if you're a team that consistently has stars, look at Cleveland. They get LeBron leaves and goes to Miami, and you see what happens to Cleveland. And the same thing with Miami. LeBron leaves and goes back to Cleveland, and you see what happens to Miami. So I understand why they did it. Yes, they need to do it. They need to lock him up. He has his playoff issues, but they need to lock him up because they needed to make sure that they have a franchise player who can attract other players. Because you can't attract players unless you have a player worth attracting. And James Harden is worth attracting. You can attract Melo. You can attract CP3. Who knows? If Melo comes and CP3 comes and they play well, and even they don't make the finals, say they lose in the Western Conference Final to Golden State, and then Golden State wins again. LeBron's a free agent. LeBron can end up in Houston. Because it is Chris Paul. It is Melo. The banana boat just without Wade. Harden will take place of Wade. The banana boat. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Comment below if you haven't. Click that bell to get more videos. I do this every day. If you disagree with me, saying that he shouldn't have got this contract, it was a waste of time, he's not a good player, comment and let me know. If you think that there's no way in hell Melo coming to Houston, comment and let me know. I holla.